Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. We're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring Darthmod in the 40 unit save version. And we just finished a big ol' tough ol' battle in Corsica last episode, and we got some more battles ahead of us this episode, but a couple quick loose ends I want to make and take care of, and one is a missionary and one is a rake, and then we'll move on to the battles. The missionary, I'm sending him up to convert in some of our newly taken Catholic territories. Since we are Protestant, we want to get those conversions done to help with public order. And then down here in Bosnia, or those that neck of the woods, we have this rake that I had been sending off kind of towards the Ottoman Empire to take a look, but I feel it's better served heading up towards Stockholm and the Russian-held Stockholm, Sweden. So we're just gonna do a move right here, so in case I forget to move the guy, he'll still make a few bits of movement. Let's get ourselves now over to India for our first battle of this episode. Okay, during the mid-turn, this army that had been threatening to actually come through Mysore, well, I guess what? I guess they don't have any kind of military access agreement. So this unit came around, I guess, over the somehow. Oh, there's a little path right here. So he came through that little opening that I didn't even notice through the trees, and apparently it was a far enough out of my zone of control. Yep, that red circle ends right before it. So he was able to pass through down here. Unfortunately, that's a lot of backwoods movement, so he didn't get very far, and we can see his intentions to take over and attack in Karnataka. So we are going to retreat from over here at Hyderabad. We will return at some point, and we'll come down here and attack. And in the meantime, we will also move this army up here to head back towards the capital of this province. And while we're at it and while we can afford it, we're going to replenish ourselves too. And it looks like, yeah, now we can provide protection there, so he can't just outright move on in real easy and take it over. He's going to have to fight us if he wants it now. All right, here's the big battle coming up. There we go. He has an army deployed of just over 8,000. We outnumber 9,752. He does have us, I believe, probably beaten with cavalry. We've got 1, 2. We got a dragoon also, so 3, 4, 5. No, we kind of count-wise match up in cavalry. He just outnumbers us in melee infantry, but the dervishes haven't proven to be holding up too well to us. The one difference, and we're going to have to see how it plays out in this particular battle. We do have a general. Oh, no, we don't have really a general. It looks like a. I guess he is our general. So we do have a general, whereas they may just have a guy on a camel who's not truly a general, no stars or anything. So, so they don't have a general like we do. Although not that ours has only any more than 3 stars, but they have none. But this will be one of probably the first truly experienced armies we go up against. There's a few troops mixed up in here, especially the musketeers. They have some great experience, so we'll see if we notice a difference there. Otherwise, we do have a slight advantage, probably because of our numbers. On the battlefield, artillery, they were slightly outnumbered, but this battery is very weakened, so we match up pretty comparable on artillery also. So that's enough chit-chat. Let's go see how it plays out down on the battlefield. All right, I noticed a little haze, a little fog on the battlefield, whatever that is. Rolling hills, so as far as clear line of sight for artillery, we don't necessarily have it. However, as far as being up close to us, I can probably position so we have the benefit of canister fire for when they enclose and get a little bit closer. And I have a feeling, being a tough melee battle, we're going to split up our artillery units. So I will be right back once I complete my setup, and we'll take a look. Okay, we have our setup complete now. Artillery is split up. One on the right flank. We got one in the center, and we have the other artillery down way over on the left flank, so there's no way they can simply overwhelm the artillery. There's a unit behind each sepoys on the right. We have the dragoons guarding the artillery in the center, and we have some grenadiers helping to guard and hopefully prevent melee from wiping out our artillery here. We have some units that'll extend over here once we start, and we have some units on the other side that will extend the line out on the other end with grenadiers if necessary on either end to be able to do the square formation if they try flanking maneuvers with their cavalry. We also have two or three regiments, 3 on this side, 2 on this side for artillery to help on flanking, and the generals positioned in the middle. So plenty of backup troops. We're layered 2 deep at least, since this is a melee type of army we're going up against, and that's proven that for melee, if they enclose in that kind of attack, we need a line 2 deep to be able to hold up to that. So there is the setup. Let's get this thing started and find out where they are. And at the moment they are lined up in the middle, so we'll just let our artillery go bombard away on its own while we finish the setup on the wings of our army. These are kind of the ability to go 2 deep on the wings. One of these units will come over here. In fact, since we're 2 deep everywhere else, both these units will come over here. See, no direct attack by any artillery moving up, so we're fine initially here. Get the grenadiers out on the wings in case we need them for square formation. And these are the backups over here for the wing, our 2 line deep. And we'll get our cavalry out on the wings also. Once we get our setup, kind of see how they are laid out, we will see if we need to start moving out with cavalry. In fact, we can get this side's cavalry over here also on the wings. So for everything we're doing is at a distance. We're hammering them hard because of their initial setup. We've taken out several of their guns already. In fact, all of their artillery is now wiped up due to their poor initial setup, so shame on you, Mughal Empire, for that setup you gave us. It's going to make our job a lot easier. In fact, I don't even need to right away charge out my cavalry to address. We'll just do some long-range weakening of their forces as they try to establish their lines. We'll see if we can't target some cavalry units now that the artillery is kind of dealt with and handled. Not really seeing any clear shots over here, so we'll just focus on some units up front, and then on this last artillery on the wings we should have something we can target out here. Some camel gunners. So this hill in the way right here is kind of blocking some of our shots. We're going to redirect so we aren't trying to shoot right through that hillock, and re-aim over here to their musketeers. I do remember the musketeers being some of their more experienced units, so why do we not target them? Sounds like a plan. And their line is beginning to take shape and form. Unfortunately, the time it's taking them to do that is allowing some continued bombardment on our part, which should just ease the chances we have in this battle. So we got pikemen over on this wing. We definitely want to be aware of them for cavalry. So I was thinking of moving out back and just running cavalry, run them amok through some of the dervish units in the back to try and weaken them. The cavalry does seem to do well against them. As long as I can keep them away from the pikemen. And it appears we're going to have some dervishes on the wing over on this side. We'll probably end up trying the same thing with our cavalry over here. We're already getting some camel gunners to waver. Artillery's taken away a third of their troops, and we're going to charge in on our first dervishes over here. And by opening the attack here, it has caused them to start advancing. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. And we're just going to change to canister fire. For when they close in, we're going to get changed way ahead of time this time. See if that can help us a little bit. We're going to charge in on these dervishes over here. We've got them wavering in the back. In fact, we've broken their cavalry gunners. We're going to try running them down a little more. In fact, here's some camel nomads we're going to see if we can't charge into to take them out. So far, our line has held up against the cavalry charge that got by me. And we have a charge here. They got by me also. They're going to take out this artillery unit because we can't get there fast enough. See if we can't charge on in here to hold this line where they're enclosing for some melee. We seem to be handling the flank over here. Who have we got left back here? Some camel gunners. We're going to move all our cavalry over there. Our dragoons have pushed back in the center. What I want to do is find out, do we have and where are my units here? Let's man the guns, boys. Let's reman those guns. And get back to canister fire. For when these guys get up close. Now let's check over the right side of the line, and we're struggling over here. The dervishes are putting up a big fight. Our casualties aren't horrendous, so we're hanging tough. And on the wings, our grenadiers are battling it out with some dervishes that got through. We're going to give them a little support over here. And we definitely have some horsemen here in the middle. They're archers, so let's pull back these guys. The rest of the line, bring fire on them. And we have definitely repulsed a significant amount of their force. We need to bring in the rest of the cavalry over here to join in on this attack. In fact, they're getting a little, our cavalry units are getting a little spread out over on this side. And we broke the dervishes in the distance there. So we're going to go against these dervishes now with the cavalry. And we've repulsed a big part of their attack. Let's reman these guns here. So they disrupted artillery of ours, but they did not manage to totally knock out the artillery units. So that's good. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking it might be time at this point to go back to some longer range fire, as long as I get some of my troops out of the way. We got some bowmen back here, which we'd like to address. Our cavalry is starting to waver with the shots being brought upon it. In fact, they have some cavalry shooting on us too, which might be more important to take out than some of these melee troops. Except we've engaged with the melee troops. In fact, we are getting too isolated. It's time to withdraw this cavalry. Same with his other cavalry getting beaten up. And let the artillery work back and do their job. So it looks like we kept the cavalry out there a little too long. This one is retreating. It is broken and is running towards the enemy. They may not survive. We'll go back to regular round shot. Let's retire our cavalry for this battle. Going back to round shot here, and who shall we target over here? And the same thing over on the left, back to round shot, and we'll target over here. And there's our other unit of cavalry that recovered. Let's get them back safely behind the line before these camel nomads get there. In fact, just in case the camel nomads follow, we'll get into square formation here. Our exhausted cavalry, it's time to bring them back out, and now that we've got broken tired units, it's time to start running down these units. Alright, we have ended the battle, so what I'm going to do is continue running down units, and we'll see you once we take a look at the final results. Alright, and it turned out to be a decisive victory for us. Didn't go as bad as I thought, mainly, or as more, I expected to win, but expected a little more of a challenge, but having them set up in that weird way, and us being able to just wipe out their artillery right off the bat, what a difference that made. Alright, we lost only 914 men. Compared to their 5,063, so great job, guys. I'm sure there's lots of promotions on this one with the quantities of men that we took out. And he's retreating even further in the direction where we don't want him to go, because we definitely don't want him to make a move against the capital, but I guess if he does, we're going to be right here to address it and push them right back out. There's no more walls there that we have to worry about. And it looks like we gained a trait, has a basic understanding of the arts of war. And it looks like that gives us our 4th star also for that commanding general. So congratulations on the promotion. While we're at it in a battling mood, let's head over to Cherokee territory and see if we can't do a battle over here. And what we have over here is this unit, rather than continuing up around and joining forces or picking off provinces one by one on its own, it decided to loop back around and become a new target for me. He's isolated. We match up well, so we're going to go in here and continue holding up here until we resolve this battle. So let's get in here and make this one happen. Looks like we have an advantage in numbers and health, and definitely an advantage with artillery. Yeah, 3,689 men on their part versus 8,316 on our part. Let's go see how we can match up. We'll see you down on the battlefield. All right, another kind of misty, foggy day on the battlefield. It kind of looks, and we'll just say it's the morning fog. And they're going to be directly ahead of us. There's not a lot of undulations in the ground we're going to have to worry about with our artillery. We only have 2 pieces in this battle, and we are going to split them up. And I'll be right back with our final setup. Okay, we got our setup. We got 1 artillery over on the left, left of center, and we got the other artillery unit over just over here, right of center. Both set up and ready to rain fire on them, at least as long as we can see them. This artillery is backed up by dragoons, the other artillery unit backed up by a regular line infantry, so in case they try to melee their way through, we can deal with it. The 2 other cavalry units that we have are the mounted tribal auxiliary. I've taken them off fire at will. At least I thought I did. Yeah, they're off fire at will just for... We're going to use them just as melee units, general bringing up the center, and then the rest of the line straight across is too deep, just because once again we're in a melee army situation, and I think we're ready to go and we'll be able to defend on this. We'll just try to be prepared this time for any of their armies moving up close and all of a sudden appearing. We won't necessarily have the view the whole time like we did of the Mughal Empire armies, where they don't go in hiding as much. The Cherokee sure will have that ability. So we're going to start the bombarding, auto fire on the units we can see. Usually it's probably their cavalry. Yep, they take the brunt of it, and as soon as we start seeing some units come live, we will react. In fact, we'll set the cavalry out just a little bit. We only have the cavalry available on this wing because I decided to keep dragoons in the back to help protect some artillery. We've had some recent battles where I haven't been successful in protecting our artillery, so I'm trying to improve from those lessons. There we got some more sight in the center. Bowmen, Native American warriors. We'll keep the artillery fire going till they close in a little closer. And once again, in hiding. They're trying to use the trees as much as they can to get closer without being seen. Aha, and they'd come over on this side to be seen. So they have some musketmen of their own on this one. We'll direct fire against them immediately. In fact, we'll change the canister fire. In fact, that may be the choice du jour that I'm going to go with here, just because we don't have a lot of long-range sight on these guys. We're just going to hold off our fire until they get up close and make it count when we see them. And are bringing the fire, it would appear, against our artillery units, but they're in canister range now. Change over to the bowmen. We'll target just to make sure the artillery auto fires on them. We'll go with the next unit in line for the canister fire. Part of the canister fire being effective for us. Pay attention on this side of the line. I think there's coming up to the line over here too with canister fire. I think that's the strategy that works when they're hidden and they can get up close, is keep our guns up close. We are showing the ability to repel them. We're going to go ahead and start retreating and running down the retreating units. In fact, since we haven't had much threat in the center, we're going to bring our dragoons off to the left, along with our general's bodyguard. Start running them down as we get able to. Native American warriors and medicine men, I don't necessarily want to get tangled up with them with our cavalry, so we'll work on this warrior society that was wavering, and another little charge by us should make things difficult for them. Our numbers are holding strong, but we will be moving out soon. And we have shattered them with that attack. So we're going to withdraw this cavalry on this side. Keep an eye on our other cavalry on the other side with the general involved. See if we can pick off some units over here to run down. In fact, we're both going to just take on their own general. We're going to have our general get aggressive and take a chance here. We're going to have to be wary of these native bowmen, though, if we get too close, or if they start following up against our charge against their general. Oh, there's defended units coming up out of the ground, so let's get our general out of there quickly. We got ambushed. So I think we will hold off our cavalry over here for the moment. It's not as safe as we might have suspected. Actually, let's keep bringing our cavalry out of here. Let the musketmen take care of them. Oh, repulsed in the nick of time. Musketmen on their part, some of their strongest units. but even they've been driven off. Our line fire, fire by rank, being much more effective in this battle that I'm noticing. Could have used it on the island of Corsica, although we had some great fire by rank on that battle too. Now that we are seeming to be a little bit safe on this side yet again, we've driven off some further attacks. It's time to start running them down a little bit more. We retreated to live to be able to fight another day. Musketmen have returned. They're resilient. And now we have Native American bowmen, which I am not all by themselves afraid to bring out our cavalry and even the general. We'll keep an eye in case hidden units pop up all around to surprise us yet again. He's wavering already. Let's hold fire on you guys for the moment. Kind of be protective of our general over here. Yeah, in fact, now we're not finding so many hidden units, so we can keep the cavalry out here staying a little bit more aggressive, I'm thinking. In fact, our musketmen are folding yet again. But they keep recovering because of that experience. It makes a difference on how quickly and how often a unit will recover. We're going to charge in with our general on these musketmen, see if we can catch them by surprise, not aimed at us for firing, and the chief's bodyguard was driven off also. We'll hold off on the canister fire anymore over here. We have no nearby units to worry about canister fire over here. So let's see where our cavalry is still chasing down. That's good. Do we have any other? Where's our other cavalry unit over here? I'm gonna run down those other musketmen, so hopefully we don't have to face them again. Here he is. He's finished his job, so he's standing just over the hillside. Let's go pick up some more retreating, and I'm sure there must be a hidden unit, which is why this battle isn't ending quite yet. But we're going to continue running down until we pop and find that last unit of theirs. There we go. We got victory. We got them all discovered. We got them all retreating. So I'm going to continue running them down. We'll come right back when I finish that. All right, we achieved decisive victory. This one came by a lot easier than the Corsica victory also. Makes a big difference when you have the canister fire on for anybody that tries getting up close right off the bat. Anytime they enclose, they just got pounded by the canister fire. And then having overall better mobility than their troops with the cavalry we were able to send out, even though we had to be a bit careful with them. That really tipped the difference for us. We lost only 363 men, which is important because we got some big battles against the Cherokee coming up, and took out 2,600 plus on their side. And he is retreating. We'll see if we can't do a little follow-up here. We can still reach them. So they were close enough for us. This part we're just going to auto-resolve. And this time we wiped him out, taking far more casualties than our regular battle. But what we are going to do is see about replenishment and get them well on their way towards replenishment. So congratulations, guys in this army. Now I want to see about, I don't know how much more I'm going to have to necessarily being that successful. These two armies, I may not have to aggressively recruit here in the Americas anymore. Whereas I'm starting to think these two armies, hopefully, especially once this one replenishes, will be enough. I was thinking I was going to do some more recruiting down here on the islands, our island territories that we have, but I may not have to. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a couple units that we've recruited already. Let's get them to the port. And did I have some already that I recruited in Mexico? I can't quite recall. Yes, we have some in Mexico. So we're going to move the Mexican forces over towards the port. And we have these guys in the port, and that means our navy over here blockading the pirates on Cuba will come to pick some up. I know I won't be able to make it to Mexico and back, so what I'm going to do is we're going to just take a fun little chance to be able to drop off a couple of these units right here. It's only 2 regiments with absolutely no support that we're going to just drop off here. But we'll consider them our advanced scout units to see what we might be up against over here. So we're going to drop them off here and then send the Navy on its way, as far as they can get at least, towards Mexico to pick up the remainder of our troops. And then we actually might have enough. Let's go see, gain sight. Yeah, I'm not seeing many troops there at all. We may just have enough to try on our own, even with hardly any. I got a few troops moving out towards us. That's militia and artillery though. So they could overwhelm our 2 units here in the port very well, especially with that artillery piece. So we may we may be up for a rough time, but at least now we kind of know what we're dealing with on the island of Cuba. So just to replace them, we will recruit 2 more regiments over here. In fact, we'll include a 12-pounder with that regiment just so we can come back. In fact, along with those 2 units, excuse me, we'll do a dragoon instead to go along with the 3 regiments from Mexico, and we'll use those forces against Cuba when we have the opportunity. And over in India, we'll go ahead and keep recruiting over here. I'm feeling like line infantry is probably the best we can do for now. Maybe adding in some dragoons to be able to help us out also. They're kind of multifunctional. They can always dismount if we need them, but I prefer them on horseback. So we'll do 2 more line infantry, a couple more dragoons over here. And therefore I think India is in pretty good shape for the moment. So now that means we pretty much have money to spend on buildings once I do one more thing, and that is spend to upgrade our Navy. Can you tell I fear the British Navy, and knowing that at some point we will have to deal with them. So we're going to go with a couple more second-rate ships to the line here. I think down in Spain with some vessels. We're going to bring the second rate up to the North Sea and that fleet. We're going to bring the 2 third rates over to the Mediterranean fleet. That is eventually, I think these are both third rates, oh, and another second rate. So the second rates I'm going to keep near Great Britain on the North Sea fleet. And the third rate we're going to let join the Mediterranean fleet that's going to actually be shuttling some troops here in a moment down to India. In fact, we can't even quite reach. Oh yes, we can. And we are healing in this army. Yeah, we just want to make sure we have some construction infrastructure to fix up before we head out. Is there anything else that needs repairing down here? Apparently not. Alright, so that's it on military investment. Let's see if I'm going to pop around like in Genoa, see if we have any building upgrades here as far as any that will help the economy. I find some little farmland up here in Norway. Sometimes forget to look this far north. And we should have lots of opportunities to find and scout out down here in the Americas, so I'm going to hunt those down. We got a shipyard. I think I'll just go ahead and upgrade it, even though that's not necessarily helping our economy. We have a nice plantation here. And another plantation like that, and we're not going to get very much further in the Americas. And like I said, that plantation is done, and we're done in the Americas. So that is our turn. All right, so that's where we're going to end this episode here. We got plenty to do next time. We'll take the new turn and then head off onto any new battles we may see fit. And there's plenty pending out there. So I hope you enjoyed today's 2 battles. I hope you enjoyed the progress we're making. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world.